my 5 Fans Clams new video. So this is something new. You're not going to expect this. I actually know how to cook a little bit. So I'm going to teach you how I make clam chowder because it is one of my favorite foods. So let me just set the camera up at all my ingredients. Setting the camera up is so much more difficult than it should be. Do we have a potato peeler? We do. It's a weird shape, but it's a peeler. I'm gonna start with onions first because I know I have to do this really quietly because onions are the bane of my existence, but I'm only chopping them in fourths. I need my knife. Get as many vegetables as you want. I like my soup really chunky. I also like it very flavorful. So if you cannot handle the flavor, you cannot handle my soup. I'm gonna get my pot filled with water a little bit while I do this. I only need it filled halfway. Is there a practical rhyme or reason way of doing this? Probably. I don't have to. I just add until I'm happy with what I'm doing. Just a pot of water. I did fill it with too much water. Am I throwing it immediately in the pot? Yes, because I want this to all boil at the same amount of time. I'm making all of the vegetables the same size anyway. I actually don't know how many I'm supposed to add because of the fact that I forgot this recipe, but I know it. Every recipe I found online does not look anything like the recipe I have written in my notebook, so I'm just going off of the notebook, which is basically just an ingredient list because I don't actually read recipes. I just know the boiling times of all my vegetables, and that's what I base it off of. I don't know if that's the correct way to do it or the wrong way. Probably the wrong way. but sue me. So, am I using my injured hand while doing this? Yes. Doesn't matter. Not to me. Would I put these in there whole if I wanted it to take longer to cook? The only time you put anything in water when it's whole is if you want it to take longer to cook. Like if you were crock-potting this meal, you make them whole instead. The potatoes stay whole, the onions stay whole when it's a crock-pot meal. Or like my friend likes to call it, crack-pot. Because she's delusional sometimes. Love her personality though. Why is this one so flat? Well, I'm not using that one. Fuck that. I just got these like yesterday. If you wonder if my eyes are watering, kind of. It's because I've been talking. You're not supposed to talk when you're cutting onions. It makes your eyes water more. If you're keeping track of how many onions I'm putting into this, feel free. I know it told me to only put in 3 potatoes, but I don't believe that is enough potatoes for it to taste good. So I'm gonna add more. I might keep the water level as high it is. I'll just boil it for longer. I only need half of this container of clams. The other half is going back in the freezer for another recipe. Chowder is actually like a Rhode Island food. Like it's one of our main things from here. I'm pretty sure it's my state's food. Like coffee milk is our state drink. I think chowder is our state food. Which is cool that I know how to make it. Am I following a recipe? No. Not fully. Okay, I'm gonna just throw this out. I'm gonna get about 5 potatoes. The recipe that I'm using technically calls for 3, but I like potatoes, so I'm adding 5. If I fuck this recipe up, I blame it on the fact that none of the internet is the same as the recipe I originally used, so. Say fuck you to the internet for me. For not giving me the same recipe I originally used when I was like in high school. Well, that makes me feel old. Am I gonna keep the chunks of my potatoes kind of big? Yes, because I like chunky potatoes. I'm making it to my preferences, which is how you're supposed to cook in the first place. I'm definitely not using this peeler right, but it's okay. I'm doing this because I genuinely wanted chowder for so long, and as soon as I tried to get it from the place that I normally get it from, they changed the recipe, and now it tastes like dog shit. Like, Iggy's used to be the best place around, and now it's the worst. You don't change something that's good and see if you can improve it. You keep it the same way. I say try to improve it because usually when you try to improve something that's already good, you ruin it. If something's already good, don't try to improve it any farther. It's already good enough. Are you supposed to normally peel over a trash can? Yes. Do I care about that? No. Technically, I would have kept the skin on if I liked it. But the only time I ever keep the skin on is when I'm making fries. But that's because I'm lazy, not because I didn't hurt myself. It's okay. That's why you're actually supposed to peel away from yourself, like this. But this peeler is easier to use when you're pulling it towards yourself. Okay. I got 5 potatoes. Let me just clean up the skin. Okay. Do you have to cut up any of these vegetables? Technically, no. But it will take exponentially longer for it to cook. And I want my food cooking within a certain time period. I also used to work in the kitchen, so. Yeah, fun fact, I used to work in a kitchen and do all the prep work for the night. I'd chop every vegetable. Yeah. The boss really liked me and stuff, but like, she didn't end up needing my help after a while. Because her business was slowly running out of business. Which is a little sad to hear, but I liked the job. I don't mind working in the kitchen. Also, if I say anything, if you want to work in a kitchen, all you have to do is just ask. You'll eventually get hired. Places are usually not that picky. And you can work your way up the ranks, even without college experience. They don't care where you start or where you end. They just care that you have the effort and the passion to put into it. So you can come with no money and still get a job in a kitchen. You can come with no experience, still get a job in a kitchen. You'll have to start at the bottom, sure. What's so bad about that? Everyone has to start somewhere, even if it's just a dishwasher. Am I a professional? No. Do I need to dump out half the water? Probably. But it's okay. 'Cause I got a hand. I'm going to put that on the stove to boil. Ooh, yum, look, boiling water. And I'm going to put in a few ingredients that you probably won't know what are, because I don't even know what they are. So this is some salted haddock. It's gonna make it fishy. I mean, clam chowder is a fishy food, so I expect it to be fishy. I'm gonna put in some vinegar. Am I measuring any of this? No. Generous salting of the water. And now I will come back when it's boiling. So I already did the next part without saying anything. You have to add a full bottle of clam juice. And, yeah. That's as far as I got. So, I'm also going to add some clams. Shit, they're still frozen. But they're going to be done by now. It's been all day. When in doubt, microwave it out. Right now it's just looking like clear chowder. Trust me, that part will change. I'm making it. What I'm going to do is something I should have done earlier. I'm going to mix cream and flour in a measuring cup. And then slowly pour it in. There is no actual measurement for this. This is just how I remember it. I want it to be thicker, not because of any other reason. I just want it to be thicker. Whoops. Yeah, it did pour out half the juice. Is there any rhyme or reason behind what I do? No. There is just do or do not do. Is this gonna make any sense? Probably not, but mix slowly and thoroughly, little by little. And it will slowly make sense. The point of doing it back and forth is literally just to break up flour so that it doesn't cook. Because you don't want it cooking. You want it mixing. Yeah. just ignore how I do this. There are better ways to do this. I'm doing it in the shittiest way possible. 'cause I suck at what I'm doing. Do I use cream? Yes. Is it because I want it thicker? Yeah. Oh my god, that's actually tasting so good. Oh, I burnt my tongue so bad. The problem is I have to add so many more clams. But there's still ice. But as long as I get about half, it'll be about right. One more scoop. Is there other fish in here other than clams? Yes. Am I gonna add more flour? Yes. I just think it needs it. I don't like how thin it is. Well, I generally like my food a bit more thick. So. I still also got half a container of this, which means I can make whipped cream later if I really so want to. I know I'm missing 2 ingredients. I'm missing some garlic and a little bit of lemon juice. No measurements needed, just, yeah. Did I add vinegar in this earlier? Yes. I'm adding a generous amount of garlic? Also yes. But that's because I like garlic. But if you add garlic to anything, that also means you have to add parsley because you don't want garlic bread. But in every recipe I've read, it also says thyme, so I'm also adding thyme to this. So parsley, adding it till it looks about right. Thyme. I actually asked an old lady at the store what I should add to this, and she gave me the advice to add salted haddock to it to give it more of a and well, she was right. It does do what it's supposed to. It makes it salty, it makes it delicious. You get to see my cute little measuring spoons. I got them from a thrift store. I'm gonna scoop some more flour into this because I like my chowder thick. I want it to be so thick that it's hard to scoop off the spoon. when trying to incorporate flour or cornstarch, you have to wet it first. Otherwise, it will cook. And you don't want it to cook immediately. You want it to mix into the soup first. You want it to incorporate with the water. So, by doing that, and adding water to it first, I'd recommend using a fork to do this, just to get it really incorporated. Or a stand mixer. Probably a fork is better though, because it's so small. Use whatever though. I know people are lazy enough to use a stand mixer. I know people are lazy enough to flat out ignore advice, so. Let's hope that helps a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to turn down the heat from high to medium. And well, I'll let it cook until it's thick enough for me. I know it said only like 4 tablespoons of flour originally, and like yeah, it said 4 tablespoons of flour originally, and I did not use 4 tablespoons of flour. No, I used far more than that because it's worth it. It also said 4 tablespoons of butter. Not 4 tablespoons. It said 3. I'm gonna add this chunk of butter. I actually made that butter from scratch. It is homemade, and it has garlic in it. And I'm using it because if I don't use it eventually, it's gonna go bad, so. And it tastes fine. It tastes like perfect garlic butter. I'm missing something. I didn't add any pepper. So I cannot eat red. I can only eat red pepper. I can't eat black pepper. Not because it will kill me if I eat it, but like, it makes my throat itch if I eat too much of it. So I genuinely, oh god, shit, fuck. That was too much. But it's because red pepper does not hurt my mouth as much. It also makes it more colorful, so I can't be that offended. Computer is so slow. I only wanted one tab. Fucker. Only July. I can add it. I accidentally added too much salt, so I'm adding milk. That's how you fix it. Also, my phone is gonna die, so I'll come back when it's done cooking. Okay, so finished making it. It is done cooking. I will eat it now. My instructions were the best. That's how you're supposed to cook, is you have no idea what's happening. Definitely cooked potatoes, right? They are fully cooked. I thought they were going to be overcooked. The broth is slightly spicy, but like, it's still not thick. I think next time I'm just going to do half as much water. And the same amount of slurry, and I'll see if it comes out better. But it will also thicken over time. Because as it's cooling down, it's slowly getting, I don't know how to say, like, thicker. I just found some of the attic. It is amazing. I know she said technically you're supposed to take it out after it's cooked, but it tastes good, so I'm gonna keep it. You're only supposed to use it to flavor the broth. I probably should have added more. And also maybe soak the potatoes in water overnight, like salt water, because the potatoes are just really plain. I mean, I love potatoes, so I like it as is, but if you want them saltier, soak them in salt water overnight. Also, at one point, I dropped some of it on my cut, and it stung so bad. So I hope that doesn't make my injury worse. We'll see. Anyway, peace, love, like and subscribe. Have a good night, my fab fans.